Hello, Internet. I want to share and talk about this idea I've been having the last couple weeks. So first, I got to do a little introduction about myself. About halfway through college, I kind of figured out that teaching was or is what I want to do. It's my passion in life. I tend to have a knack for it, and I find it fun. The traditional route is going to be a professor or any teacher really in that traditional sense. But I'm kind of thinking about different ways I could maybe do that and kind of follow that passion. And one thing I've been thinking about lately is the difference between just like a teacher and a shepherd. Now, when I think of a teacher, I think about somebody presenting on something, facing an audience, and kind of talking at them, that sort of thing. But then I've been comparing it to what like a shepherd might do, and I even think about, you can even think of their orientation amongst the people. Teachers, they're facing the opposite way of the crowd, talking towards them. Shepherds, they're facing the same way as everyone else. And I kind of imagine them as, or I view them, they're leading the way. They're a part of the audience. They're not doing as much yapping, but they're kind of just leading the way, leading through example, that sort of thing. And I kind of want to see if I can get into more of that through the internet. I think traditional teaching, like professors and like secondary, primary education, all that stuff, it doesn't give much opportunity to kind of branch out and explore new avenues of teaching. And one thing I kind of want to get into is teaching things like just general life lessons, getting away from telling people what to think and getting away from that, rather talking about telling people how to think, not telling them what ideas to have, but how to shape their own ideas and that sort of thing. And I'm wondering, making some form of series where I just talk about like general life things, my life experiences, that sort of thing. Talk about my failures and successes. I don't think people talk enough about their failure in life. Just one example is like scientific research. You don't publish any of your failures, and I think you can learn a lot more from those than a lot of other things. But that's especially true in life, I think. Learning what not to do, what doesn't work, that sort of thing. And as part of this intro, I kind of want to just give an example of something I would talk about. One thing I've learned lately in life, as of like the last kind of year, I'm 23 years old, so it's taken a while, but the difference between thinking logically and thinking pragmatically. So, and I kind of want to illustrate, like, as part of the shepherd thing, I would illustrate this stuff using my own life experiences, talking about my own experience. So one of my experiences with like diets and all that stuff, like I tried out like the keto diet or whatever, and I do think it works, and it might be like the right way or whatever. Science might say whatever, but so that might be logically correct, but if you can't stick to it, it's not going to work very well. So it's, as far as like eating that way, you got to say goodbye to all things crispy. There's no crunch. It's very hard to get some crunch in your diet. And like, if you can't do that and you keep, like for me, I kept like trying it, and you would fall off. I would fall off the path, and then it's like, what are you really doing? It's not. You're not really progressing anywhere. If you keep adherence is a big deal, and I guess the difference between, like, logically it might make sense, but pragmatically, if it's not working out, you got to kind of take a step back, and taking the step back is thinking pragmatically. It's really the difference between just thinking like a robot versus taking humility into account, taking your biology, the fact that we're some monkeys, not just programs going about. And like for me, like I like bread, a lot of people do, and so adopting a kind of a different strategy of maybe just not doing a restriction diet and kind of changing perhaps like the times that I'm eating, that sort of thing, like adherence and just being able to do the same thing long term has been much better than trying to restrict myself. So something like that. That's just like obviously a pretty rough sketch, but just talking about my previous successes, failures, what works, what doesn't work. Because when you tell people what doesn't work, you can kind of save people some time. I think we could be saving a lot of kids some time by just telling them not what to think, and we send them off to college and they're taking all these classes they don't really want to take, and they're still like, they get spit into society at 21, still not knowing what they want to do. And maybe if we're teaching them more about just how to think, how to kind of find themselves, how to find their passion earlier, we might be doing people a little more justice. So yeah, I just wanted to get some feedback on this type of series. I think I would live stream it on Twitch, so that I could talk about my experiences or whatever, and then people could have their own input live, and I could make some like little presentations perhaps. I also kind of want to explore teaching through memes. I think memes, obviously people like them, but I think the reason so many people might enjoy them is they're very relatable. I think they speak to much deeper things in our psychology that I think they're a little deeper than, because they at first appear very kind of surface, like it's just like a picture that is kind of repeated over and over with different formats and that kind of stuff. But I think there's a reason they're so popular. So I wonder if that could be another idea, kind of analyzing them and maybe seeing if there's kind of a deeper meaning behind some. But maybe I can make an example of that in a future video. But yeah, just wanted to get some feedback, some different ideas. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Cool.